Level 1. The beginning. You are standing in a group of people who are all laughing at something, and you have absolutely no idea what just happened. You smiled anyway, a little too late, a little too wide. Like a person who learned what smiling was from a textbook. This is where you are right now, at the bottom, at the start. And the worst part is, you have been here for years. You have watched other people move through rooms like water, easy, natural, effortless, while you move through them like furniture nobody asked for. But here is what they never told you. Conversation is not a talent. It is not a personality type. It is not something you either have or you do not. It is a skill, learnable, trainable, repeatable, and every single person you admire for their social ease was once exactly where you are standing right now. Awkward, invisible, unsure. This is level 1, and it is also the last time you stay here. Level 2, becoming someone people like. You walk into a room and you want people to like you. Obviously, everyone does. The difference is, you are thinking about it so hard, your face has stopped working. Likability is not about being attractive or funny or impressive. It is about how you make people feel in your presence. Do they feel seen? Do they feel heard? Do they feel like they are the most interesting person in the room when they talk to you? Because the people everyone loves are not the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who make others feel most alive. You start small. You make eye contact without staring like a predator. You smile before you speak. You use people's names, not obsessively, just enough. Turns out a person's name is the sweetest sound in any language to that person. Revolutionary information that most people completely ignore. You stop trying to be interesting and start being genuinely interested. And almost overnight, people start wanting to be around you. Not the version of you performing for approval, the version of you that finally stopped trying. Level 3. Learning the rules of the game. There are rules. Nobody handed them to you, but they exist. And once you see them, you cannot unsee them. The first rule, conversation is not a monologue with pauses. It is an exchange, equal parts speaking and listening. The second rule, questions are not interrogation tools. They are invitations, open ones, the kind that cannot be answered with yes or no. You stop asking, "Did you have a good weekend?" and start asking, "What was the best part of your weekend?" One of these ends the conversation. The other one starts it. Guess which one you have been using? The third rule, listen to understand, not to respond. Most people are not listening. They are just waiting. Waiting for their turn. Waiting for a gap to jump into. You stop waiting. You start actually hearing what is said and what is not said. The fourth rule, follow the energy. When someone lights up talking about something, go there, stay there, dig there. Conversations stop being exhausting when you stop trying to control them and start following the current. Level 4, making conversations unforgettable. You have had 1,000 conversations that evaporated the moment they ended. Nobody remembered them, not even you. You were pleasant, you were polite, you were completely forgettable. Exceptional interactions do not happen by accident. They are ignited. You learn to bring something to every conversation, an unexpected opinion, a surprising question, a moment of genuine vulnerability. You stop playing it safe. Safe conversations leave no mark. You learn to lean into tension instead of smoothing it over immediately. A little friction creates heat. Heat creates memory. You ask the question everyone is thinking but nobody is saying. You become the person who makes everyone think, "Wait, why has nobody ever asked that before?" You learn to be playful, to tease without cruelty, to laugh at yourself before anyone else gets the chance. You master the callback, bringing back something said earlier in the conversation at exactly the right moment. People walk away from talking to you, and they cannot quite explain why that felt so different, but they know they want to do it again. Level 5. Becoming magnetic. Charisma is a lie you were told was genetic. It is not. Charisma is a collection of micro-behaviors that anyone can learn. The way you enter a room. Slow down. Do not rush in like you are apologizing for your own existence. The way you speak. Lower. Slower. with deliberate pauses that make people lean in rather than tune out. The way you listen, with your whole body. Turn toward the person, not glancing at your phone, not scanning the room. Full presence is the rarest thing in the modern world, and it feels like a superpower to the person receiving it. You cultivate warmth, the genuine belief that the person in front of you has value and that this moment matters. You stop performing confidence and start practicing it until it stops being a performance. You develop your own point of view. You have opinions. You share them, not aggressively, but clearly. People are not drawn to emptiness. They are drawn to someone who stands for something. You become magnetic, not because you changed who you are, but because you finally stop diluting it. Level 6. Reading the room. The funniest joke in the world delivered to the wrong person at the wrong moment is a disaster. You know this now. You learned it the hard way. At least once, possibly at a funeral. Knowing your audience is the difference between connection and alienation. You learn to read the signals before you speak. Body language, energy level, the speed of their speech, what they laugh at, what makes them go quiet. You calibrate. You do not use the same version of yourself with your boss that you use with your best friend. This is not being fake. This is being fluent. A musician plays differently in a cathedral than in a dive bar. Same instrument, same skill, different room. You develop social antennae. You feel the energy shift when a topic hits a nerve. You notice when someone checked out 3 sentences ago. You adjust, mid-sentence if you have to. You learn that the most powerful conversational skill is not knowing what to say. It is knowing what not to say, and exactly when not to say it. The room becomes readable, and you become the person who always seems to say exactly the right thing. Level 7. Going deeper. Surface conversations keep you safe and completely alone. You can know someone for 10 years and still not know them. Deep connection does not happen through time. It happens through truth. You learn to be vulnerable first, not dramatically, not as a trauma dump on a first meeting, but strategically, bravely, humanly. You share something real, something slightly uncomfortable, something that costs you a little. And what happens next is almost chemical. The other person opens, because vulnerability is permission. When you go first, you tell them it is safe to follow. You ask questions that matter. Not, what do you do, but what made you choose that? Not, where are you from, but what do you miss most about it? You learn that everyone is carrying something heavy, and most people never get asked about it. You become the person who asks, and then actually waits for the answer. Conversations start leaving marks, not just on them, on you. You stop collecting contacts and start building the rarest thing a human being can have, real relationships. People who actually know you and stay anyway. Level 8. Surviving the hard moments. You said the wrong thing. Again. Maybe you made a joke that landed like a brick through a window. Maybe you accidentally revealed something you should not have. Maybe you walked into an argument you did not understand and somehow made it worse. Social blunders are not the end of the world. They are tuition. You learn to recover without spiraling. A clean, direct acknowledgement. I should not have said that, I am sorry, is worth more than 10 minutes of over-explaining. You learn to handle conflict without combusting. To stay regulated when someone is trying to destabilize you. To lower your voice when every instinct tells you to raise it. You learn to navigate the people who interrupt, dominate, manipulate, or twist your words. You develop a vocabulary for setting limits without starting wars. I am not comfortable with that. Let me push back on something. That is not how I see it. Simple sentences, devastating effectiveness. You stop dreading hard conversations and start seeing them as the proof that a relationship is real enough to survive honesty. The blunders still happen, but they no longer define you. You define them. Level 9. Making conversation work for you. Everything you have ever wanted from another human being required a conversation to get it. The job, the promotion, the relationship, the second chance, the yes when everyone expected a no. At this level, you understand that persuasion is not manipulation. Persuasion is alignment. You find the overlap between what you need and what the other person values, and you speak directly into that overlap. You learn to frame your asks in terms of their benefit, not your need. You learn the power of silence after a request. You ask, and then you stop talking. The first person to speak after an ask usually loses. You are no longer that person. You learn to negotiate without aggression, to influence without pressure, to lead people to conclusions they feel they reached themselves. You become someone who walks into difficult conversations with a clear outcome in mind and the emotional intelligence to navigate toward it without force. This is not manipulation. This is mastery. You stop leaving conversations hoping things work out and start entering them knowing exactly how to make them work. Level 10. The Master Communicator. You are in a conversation right now, and you are tracking 17 things at once. The words, the pauses, the energy shift when that topic came up, the thing they almost said and swallowed, the way their shoulders dropped when they finally felt safe. You are not just listening, you are reading. You know when to push and when to hold back, when someone needs to be challenged and when they need to simply feel understood. You have learned that the most powerful sentence in almost any conversation is, "Tell me more." You have had thousands of conversations now, awkward ones, disastrous ones, ones that changed your life, and ones that ended relationships, and ones that built them from nothing. Every single one made you sharper, and you remember standing in that room, 40 minutes of silence, a smile that came too late and stretched too wide. Thinking you were broken, thinking this was just who you were. You were wrong. You walk into rooms now, and something shifts before you even open your mouth. Not because you are performing, not because you memorize the right lines, because you are fully, completely, dangerously present. And you know exactly what to do with that. Comment below. Which level hit closest to home? Which chapter of your own story are you still writing? Because someone in this comment section might be exactly the person you need to meet next.